Very welcome everyone. My name is Nicholas Tan from Kenanga Futures Sdn Bhd. Thank you for spending your precious time to join our webinar today. It's a joint collaboration with CME Group in our effort to create awareness and provide education on listed derivatives to the participants. Please take note that futures and options trading involves substantial risk due to leverage factor and may not be suitable for investors. This webinar is purely for educational purposes. Kenanga Futures Sdn Bhd accepts no liability whatsoever for any direct or consequential loss arising from any use of the content of this webinar. So before we start, we'd like to take this opportunity to invite you to Kenanga Futures' next webinar, which is on 26th November. It's about Trade the CME Micro, Gold and Silver Futures. An invitation email will be sent to you. Don't miss out and please remember to register once you receive the email. Next, if you have any questions for our speaker, please feel free to post your questions through the Q&A box on the right side or at the bottom of your screen, and he will attend to your questions after the presentation. So today we have Mr. Chong here, and he's going to share with us about introduction to copper futures. So without further delay, we'd like to kickstart our webinar by welcoming our speaker today, Mr. Chong. Chong, over to you.
Okay, very good evening, everyone. Welcome abroad to another session on. Today we are covering this introduction of copper to copper. So let's get started. Okay, disclaimer on the confidentiality of the contents provided today. Okay, next, okay, today's agenda. First thing, we are going to cover the fundamental of copper itself. We are going to go through a brief history about copper and where are the area of sectors that has been applying copper, and also then we'll be covering the introduction of the Comex copper futures contract to let you know what are the some statistic and also the contract spec of this futures contract. Then we are going to assessing some factors impacting copper prices. Then last but not least, I'm going to share some market outlook, technical outlook on copper futures prices, and also the Q&A section. Okay, let's get started. Introduction. Okay, this slide it will be about the history of the copper metal itself. They call it the metal of civilizations. Basically, this slide is a bit the content of the picture might be too small. I will share the next slide, which is a lot more wider. So just basically, copper has been used by human being since very, very long time ago. As you can see that the history of copper being used by humans began since about 6,000 to 3,000 BC, before century. Then it slowly evolved into the current days where we are using copper in a lot of area. Even in our house, there's a lot of things that is being produced that is containing copper itself. Okay, so basically, copper is very important in our daily life, and it's been used we use it quite widely. Okay, next. So why these metal are so fully utilized by human being? Okay, first of the reason why is because this metal is highly ductile. The meaning of ductile is basically it's a metal that you can stretch to a different form. Example, to stretch to a wire to stretch a piece of copper, maybe in squarish, to a very round, long tube kind of metal, but without any breaking point. So in this sense, copper are very, very versatile to be able to form into different shapes without breaking the structure and still maintaining its attribute. Okay, and then of course the second thing will be this is very good in conducting thermal and electricity. And then another point will be the melting point of 100 Celsius, making it the ideal metal in terms of conducting heat without getting diluted. So this is one of the best attribute about copper. Okay, and then another main reason is also it is easily alloyed or mixed with other metal to produce a very good alloy. So later I will show you about this. And then in terms of malleability, basically what malleability means is that you can actually hammer a piece of copper to a very thin form. So this make it very ideal for fabrication into something like jewelries, into different shapes and sizes. In fact, for information, the Statue of Liberty are being produced by copper, which because they will form the copper into a very thin sheet, and then assemble the Statue of Liberty. And also it is corrosion resistant, meaning to say it is anti-rust, so it will not get corrosive for a long period of time. And then this another reason is anti-fouling. So what does it mean by anti-fouling? Let's say example, if you put a piece of paper, you put a piece of metal into a water, or put a piece of glass or ceramic into water for a long period of time. So algae started to form in that piece of metal. So copper, when you put a piece of copper in the water for a long period of time, there will be no algae able to grow on it. So that is make it very ideal for metal to be used in shipping industry to produce ship for fabrication of ship. Okay, and then it is also antimicrobial. Basically, what does it mean is that if a bacteria or virus touch the surface of copper, chances of it survive will be very low. Okay, and then copper is very durable. Actually, there has been copper that is for the record, there's been copper that's lasting for 1,600 years that still exists today. And then it is sustainable, basically, because we have a very large reserve of copper here on Earth, and it's only a small percent of the copper has been mined. And also, last but not least, is recyclable. And another point about recyclable is that these copper have unlimited recyclable lifespan. So and the beauty of it is that the more time you recycle it, it won't actually damage the quality of the copper element itself. So that makes it a very ideal metal for human application into daily life. Okay. So here is one of a slide showing that the copper is being used in terms of percentage. As you can see, large of the percentage are being used in producing wires due to the ductile copper attribute, and also the electricity conductor are very good. In fact, actually, in terms of metal, the first best conductor metal will be silver, and then followed by copper. But comparatively, in terms of cost, copper is much more economical to be utilized as a conductor as compared to silver, which is a bit more expensive. And then if you compare to aluminum, yeah, price is actually comparable, but in terms of safety issue, aluminum is not ideal to be used as a heat or electricity conductor. Okay, others will be 5% in alloying, and then 20% in roofing and plumbing due to the corrosion attribute, and also 15% has been used in industrial machinery. Okay, this will be the alloy 3. sourced from Copper Alliance, where alloy can be mixed with other metal to produce a very vast selection of alloy. So that is how versatile copper is. Okay, this is another side note here is that it is due to copper is so valuable and theft on copper are on a rising, increasing trend actually, especially in the US. As you can see here, the slide, there are a lot of people, there are theft of copper involving those electric standing tower, railroads, and also some area that is using a large amount of copper. Next, okay, here is one of another very important factor of copper is that it's actually an essential element that our body needs as a nutrient to help us in transferring energy into cells. Okay, so it is also a nutrient that we as humans will consume. Okay, and this is something more relevant to the current pandemic. As you can see that they do a test on the surface of metal and stainless steel, and with different types of virus or bacteria. And you can see that the lifespan of the bacteria or virus itself are much more longer in stainless steel surface as compared to copper, as you can see here. So like this MRSA viability is about actually about maybe 100 minutes lifespan, and here will be the E. coli, which is also about 100 minutes. So the lifespan when the bacteria touch the surface of copper. So this make copper one of the very ideal metal to be used in water filtering and water hygienic industry. And this is the research done by WebMD, where they put the coronavirus into the surface of different type of products or metal. As you can see that when you put the coronavirus on copper surface, it only lasts for about 4 hours, and it also goes to aluminum. It lasts about 2 to 8 hours. So other than that, it is in the number of days. So that's another side note for you. And due to this attribute, copper is also been widely used in medical equipment industry and also medical building due to this characteristic of copper. Okay, in terms of resources, we have a very vast reserve of copper underground. So, and it's only like about 13.6% has been mined throughout history, and about 1.1 trillion pound is still in circulation because of recycling rate is higher. And the top 5 reserve country for copper will be Chile, Australia, Peru, Russia, and Mexico. And this is the largest copper mine on Earth, which is located in northern Chile. Okay, this will be the refining process of from copper ore being mined into smelting, and then it will produce into copper sheet. Okay, and now we are going to see the fundamental in terms of supply and demand for this metal. This is a graph on the mine's location on Earth. As you can see, mainly in South America, North America, and Australia, and a small part of Africa. Now, this is those mine with the status active, meaning it's still ongoing mining processes. But due to high demand of this metal, I'm going to share the next slide here. Is now this slide is actually compared to the earlier slide. You see, this is this mine location that are combining active, under development, and planned. So as you can see, the future of this metal is very bright as and more demand for this demand are growing constantly every year, and there's been more mining companies starting to exploring and to increase the production of copper to supply to the world. Okay, in terms of this is the production by country. As you can see, the blue line will be total global production, and followed by a few countries, the top 10 countries, primarily led by Chile, Peru, and China. Chile will be the top, where there is a huge margin difference between Chile compared to the rest of the producing country. So Chile will be the leading production country and also exporting country for copper. Okay, this is actually the production by countries, as you can see. Another statistic. This is the year covering year 2010, 2016, 2018, and 2019. As you can see, Chile is way far behind, way far in the leading status as compared to the rest of the country. Okay, this will be a graph, a monthly chart of Chile copper production that I managed to pull up from Bloomberg. And this is the second largest producer, Peru, copper productions, monthly chart since 2010. Okay, and this will be, we look at the demand side, where China is this leading importing country for copper, despite China itself did produce copper, but the internal consumption are overwhelming, and as a result of that, China have no choice but to import copper, mainly from Australia, Chile, and Peru. Okay, in terms of zone, the EU zone will be the second large entity to import copper, followed by United States. In fact, Malaysia, in terms of country, Malaysia is also the number 10 top importing country for copper metal. Okay, this is the as you can see, it's a steadily uptrend for China copper imports. This is the monthly chart. Okay, this is the China refined copper production, meaning to say they import the copper ore, and then it's produced into refined copper. So this is the production is also in line with the importing trend, which is rising uptrend. Okay, then we will be covering the contract specification for the Comex copper contract. Okay, as you can see, the underlying asset will be the grade 1 electrolytic copper cathode. So this is actually the grade for the electricity conduction grade. Okay, and the chart I will show you later a picture of how is it. Okay, and then is the contract size is actually 25,000 pounds. So the price quote currently for copper, let me check on the screen. Currently is trading at active month December 3.152. Okay, that is the current price of copper now currently trading, and the minimum tick for this contract is 0.0005 per troy ounce. So it actually is actually per pound here, sorry, correction. And 0.005 is equivalent to $12.50. As you can see, this is a very ideal product for intraday where you can easily intraday after and profit with 1 or 2 ticks after commission by trading this contract. So it is really ideal for intraday trading. So in terms of contract months, all the months are listed on 24 consecutive months, 24 consecutive months, and any March, May, July, September, December for the nearest 63 months onwards going forward. Okay, so the trading times will be currently we are in non-daylight savings, so the starting trading time will be 7 a.m. Malaysian time, and it will end the next day 6 a.m. So this is actually a 23 hours market trading. Okay, for non-daylight saving is 1 hour earlier actually. Okay, in terms of the expiry date, so it's actually expired at 12 noon Central Time on the third last business day of the contract month. Okay, so meaning to say, assuming, let's say example for November contract. November contract, basically it expired last 3 business days, so which is actually, it will be expired on 26 November for the November month, and for the December month will be expired on the 29th of December for the December month. Okay, it is actually a deliverable contract. Okay, in terms of the margin, will be currently is 4,620, approximately 20,000 ringgit Malaysia. This is as of 29 August, 29 October. Okay. Now this is the cut rod that I mentioned just now. This is the standard deliverable form of copper. This is actually after refined. So when delivery, this will be the form of copper that is the buyer is going to receive for physical delivery. Okay, in terms of the price performance, currently as year to date, copper has been in a rising uptrend so far. Ever since it has come down due to the ongoing COVID, then from there it's been on a steadily rising uptrend. Okay, I will show you why later, and this will be the history chart of 20 years. As you can see that currently is actually trying to reach the high recorded in year 2017 or 2018, which is somewhere near 340. Sorry, not 300. It's actually 3.5 per pound. Okay, and this will be the performance comparative to the main metal of gold, silver, and copper. As you can see, gold has been appreciated 22%. This chart is actually as of yesterday, and silver are up 35% year to date, and copper have been up 11% year to date. Okay. So metal is definitely on demand for now, on uptrend. Now, okay, in terms of the statistic of the volume of this contract, as you can see, why I show this, as you can see, it is a bit confusing. Why I show this chart is because you can see copper, there is the spot, the current month and the next month contract. Both are also very active, but of course, as is for the near month contract, when as is approach expiry, the volume will be dropping. So it is not a clear picture that I show you the spot month contract alone, and also it is not a clearer picture for me to show only the second month, the next month contract. So as you I may giving participant the wrong impression that copper is not an active month, but it's not true. Where this is actually a very active contract. This is actually a daily volume. It's just that which contract is more active on which particular date of the month where it is in terms of expiry. So as you can see, when it's near expiry, volume will drop, and the second month, which is H2, the volume will started to pick up. See, so this is how the nature of this product is. Okay, this is on volume, and this is on the high-low range. Okay, as you can see here that the range is quite large. It's actually for near month is actually a 0.05. Both are also around 0.05 range. Basically 0.05 range, if you divided 0.05 divided by 0.0005, so it's actually 100 ticks. 100 ticks, if you times $12.50 per tick, is actually equivalent to 1,250 US dollar fluctuation in a single day. So basically, it is a very active contract, and it is also a very volatile, ideal for intraday trading contract where the movement is very active, and there is a lot of opportunity to capitalize on if you are an intraday trader. Okay, and this will be the open interest, as you can see. So I also show you H1 and HU for near month and next month. As you can see, it can easily reach, open interest can easily reach about 80,000. So there is a lot of participants here that trade on this contract. Now this will be the average hourly volume that I extract. This is for the period of 6 months as of yesterday. So I meaning to say for the past 6 months, I take out the hourly volume, and I will average out it by the hour. This is on 12 to 1 a.m. Malaysia. This is on Malaysia time, 12 to 1 a.m., 1 a.m. to 2 a.m., 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. As you can see that if you are worried that the Malaysian time the volume is not active, which is not very true. In fact, in around Asian hour, the volume is there for you to trade. Actually, it can easily hit actually about easily hit 500 lots on hourly basis for both. So this is actually still a very active market, and in fact, it is actually very suitable for if you are working 9 to 5 job, where after the working hours is very active. As you can see, it is active ever since the start of maybe 7 p.m. onwards until 12 to 1 a.m. actually. Okay, and when you trade this contract, there is other similar contract that is trading around the world. To name, this will be the 3 most active copper futures contract. Mainly, it will be the Shanghai Futures Contract Copper, Shanghai Exchange Copper Contract, and then the LME London Metal Exchange Copper Contract, and followed by the Mumbai Commodity Exchange Futures Contract. That you need to pay attention to the performance of these prices if you were to trade this contract. Okay. Okay, now we are going to assess the factors that is so far affecting the price of copper movement. So what will be the factors that we need to pay attention to when trading this contract? Of course, we will have to go from the scratch, which is from the supply side, where we have to go to the mining production, the refining activities. This will be on the supply side. This one, basically, you can actually check this data on some mining website. There are quite a number of mining data websites that you can check. Basically you Google mining data. There is a lot of data that you can extract out from the internet actually. And also on the demand side, it will be, of course, global economic activity. And this one mainly the focus will be, of course, on China because it's the top importing country. And one of the indicators that you can use will be they call it Caixin industrial production in economic indicator, that is, or they call it industrial production index, IPI indicator. So this will also this indicator will show you the industrial activity in China, and due to the vast application of copper in China economy, so is the industrial production activity will also indirectly means that the higher the index, the higher the utilization of copper actually. So that will be the another factor you need to watch out. And of course, as the copper that we trade for Comex contract are quoted in US dollar, so US dollar will have inverse relationship with the prices of copper, because the higher US dollar, it will result that the copper will be more expensive for the importing country, so price will have a pressure downward. But on the opposite side, if when dollar are softer, it will be more cheaper for importing country to buy more, so price will basically pressure upwards. So that's and of course next will be the crude oil prices. Why crude oil prices is related is not directly related, but because when you do refining of copper, you need to use fossil fuel to burn, to melt the copper ore and refine it in the smelting process. So the higher the cost of the higher crude oil prices, it will actually discourage refinery activity actually to some extent. Okay, and of course next is the natural disaster. This is mainly we will be focusing on Chile and Peru, which is actually an earthquake zone. So there is quite a number of big earthquake happened before in Peru and Chile. So this will affect the supply side of the copper to importing country, and when this happens, it will be pressure price upwards, of course. And also Chile is also a volcanic zone country, for your information. And another less likelihood factor will be actually news on worker strike on mining and refinery side will also affect the supply of copper. And also last but not least, it will be trade policy, like the trade war and trade policy on importing and exporting country of copper. So you have to pay attention to these factors when trade this contract. Okay, now this is the news that that's been published on 1st October. As you can see that price is pressuring upwards is due to the growing demand, and also we have a supply shortage due to the first thing is due to the strong demand, and second thing is because of the supply, because as you are aware, we are in a pandemic and there will be less workforce working in the mining site and also refinery site. So this actually make copper supply limited for this period of time, and that's one of the main reasons why copper prices have been pressuring outwards. Okay. And also this is another factor is why on reason why price of course copper has been going up. But as you can see that for this year, both China and US are actually giving subsidy or tax incentive for new solar power installation on their respective country, and if the subsidy or tax exemption will be end of this year. So to enjoy this benefit, so all the power generation player will have to rush in to build all the power plant by this year, and this actually has resulted a surge in demand for copper. And copper has been widely used in both solar power farm and also wind power generator farm also. Later I will show you. Okay, this is actually a monthly seasonal performance heat map. Actually, sorry, this is actually copper, not gold. So, okay, as you can see, there is no particular trend in terms of seasonal, and copper has been widely used across the world 24/7 without any special season. So if you are a seasonal trader, so you have to take into consideration of these factors. So it is not a seasonal price product. Okay. Now this is actually the relationship between copper price and the US dollar. As you can see, it is actually consistently in the inverse relationship, where when US dollar is downward, so price of copper will be going up. Of course, the magnitude can be different at times, but generally it is on the opposite directions. This is for the past 20 years relationship, so it's been very consistent. Okay, now here will be the last section of the presentation where we cover market outlooks. This is the daily chart outlook for copper. As you can see that it is generally recording higher low, higher high, and steadily. This is a 6-month daily chart, higher high, higher low. So it's generally in an uptrend market movement, and it's been consolidating ever since mid of October. So now it is stuck actually within the range of $3 to $3.20. So this will be the consolidating range, and so generally it's still in an uptrend. So the main support line for daily chart, which basically represent the near term, will be basically the support near $3 per pound must be defended in order for further upside. If market come break below $3 per pound, so it will have more correction. Okay, but in terms of technical indicators, RSI basically is still not yet in overbought zone. So in that sense, they could be still in an uptrend. But having said that, for the MACD, it is actually above positive line, which is bullish, and also issuing a buy signal still. Even if it's issuing a sell signal, but it will still be on the positive zone. So it will not be a bearish market yet, even if there is a sell signal. So, but bear in mind, there is some weakness in price in terms of divergence, comparing the price higher high, but the MACD doesn't record a higher high. So that you have to bear in mind. If this cross down and goes below negative, so there could be a larger correction on copper price, but nevertheless, it's too early to tell. For now, it will still be on a steady uptrend. This is the weekly chart. This is for the period of 2 years. As you can see, price have been range bound sideways for about 1 year plus, and then plunge in the beginning of the year, and then has been steadily recovering to a higher high. So it's generally still in an uptrend. Now it's in consolidation, as you can see. So I would say that it will still be on an uptrend, and it's too early to tell that market will develop into a bearish market. It's still too far to give that statement actually. Okay. Whereas in this is the point and figure chart for copper. This is 20 ticks per box, 3-box reversal chart. As you can see, generally still uptrend. Now this red line will be the major support. So as you can see, in terms of point and figure, 3.05 will be the main support. So if this break, then the next one will be 2.82 around there. So generally, it's still on an uptrend, as long as the 3.05 level still hold. Okay, so I'll be giving a bullish outlook for copper price, both near term and medium term. And this will be some trading strategy that you can adopt. If it is fall below the range of 3.05 to 2.8, so basically you need to play the range of buy on weakness or support and then sell on strength, or short on resistance. So basically this will be on the range trading kind of strategy. And if you still manage to maintain above 3.05, then basically meaning to say that the uptrend is still intact, then you might need to consider buy. I would say you might need to adopt a more aggressive approach on to buy where there is a breakout or where there is a strength. You need to follow the trend to trade if it still maintain 3.5. But if it fell out of the range of 2.8, then it could develop into a bearish market or a downtrend market, subject to the development of technical. But when price are below this range, basically you can adopt a sell on weakness or break of support kind of strategy when trading copper. Okay.
Chong, is there anything else you would like to add on before we end the session for today?
Okay. So for trading copper, basically, to me, is actually a very tradable product, and actually the volume is actually quite large, if you ask me, compared to other product. And when you treat this contract, the fluctuation is very big. So you will need to have adopt a larger stop and also a larger profit kind of strategy when trading it. So because it fluctuates quite a lot and it's being participated by a lot of players, especially physical players. as I show you just now that copper has been widely used across the world, and I'm sure there is a lot of physical entity that participate in this contract for hedging purposes. So meaning to say that when you buy, there is a genuine seller on the most probably on the physical side that participate in this contract. So that's why there is a lot of participant. As a result of this, the movement is quite large. As I just show you on the high-low range just now, the slide. So you have to bear in mind with it. So this is not this contract is comparatively to like soybean or soybean oil. The movement is a lot more bigger as compared to agricultural products. So you have to bear in mind on that for the copper contract.
Okay.
Mhm.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Should you have any further queries, please feel free to drop us an email at pcrm@kenanga.com.my. We appreciate you being here and hope that you enjoyed the webinar today. Please take a minute to rate our webinar, and your feedback is highly appreciated. Again, don't forget to register for our next webinar. Thanks again for joining us, and hope to see you again in our next one. Stay safe, everyone, and good night.
What are you clicking?
Click KenangaFutures.com.my, Malaysia's leading derivatives broker.